I'm Jack Harrington, product manager at Bush Hog in Selma, Alabama. And we're at the Farm Progress Show. And behind me is the model 2815-2. We started to produce the -2 in April of this year. And the difference between the 1 and 2 models, of course, is a large 225 horsepower gearbox that we put on the -2s. That gearbox also has a 3-inch output shaft, which is the first in the industry for that larger shaft. And with that, you get 27% more splines on the output shaft, and also the splines are deeper, which really retains that pan no matter what you're doing with it. It'll stay tight. 2815 started, of course, up front with our Permalevel Hitch. It's been with us now for many years. And very few hitches in the industry actually rotate around the axis of that hitch itself, which means that regardless of the position of your tractor drawbar and the cutter tongue, the hitch rotates, relieving the stresses that might occur. The decks on the 2815 are double on the center, 11 gauge top and 7 gauge bottom. The wings are single decks, but because of the way they're designed, there's no structure underneath nor on top. Those are also 7 gauge decks. The sight gauges on the gearboxes are patent pending. In a matter of just a few minutes, you can check oil in all 3 cutting gearboxes, which before this time you had to get on the top of the cutter with a wrench to check your gearbox oil level. Not anymore. The wing skids on the 2815 are also in 2 pieces. Wing skid wear normally occurs on the front leading edge of your wing skids. Now, when the skid wears out on this unit, you just replace the front half. You don't have to purchase an entire wing skid. In addition to that, the outside corners are turned up at 45 degrees. When you make your turns, that skid does not dig into the ground as a flat skid would, and that just prevents the damage to your sideband. Going on back to the rear of the cutter, we have the square tube axle across the back. Each pivot point in that square tube position has a grease fitting and also spring steel bushings. Those bushings are your wear items, so it's always possible in the future you get to the point you like to take the wear out and just replace your spring steel bushings and your bolts, and that will do it. Your axle arms also have grease fittings. Make sure they have the longest life. And as with this class of cutter, we also put the springs at the wheels, or nearest the wheels as possible. That absorbs your shock loads. So without the shock load having to travel through all your pivot points to a bank of springs on the center section that some competitors have, the shock loads absorb where they need to be, near your wheel itself. Blade tip speed on this cutter is 540 or 1,000. It's close to 16,000 feet per minute. It'll give you a good clean cut, and of course the blades are parallel uplift blades to get maximum suction. 2815 is also available with an optional grass distribution baffles. I said grass distribution baffles. Actually, anything you're cutting with the baffles helps with distribution, especially in row crop corn. You get wingtip to wingtip distribution in corn without the windrows, and you get the same thing in heavy material in pasture conditions. So the 2815 is our latest unit on the marketplace. The -2 model is with the 225 horsepower gearboxes. And the last item I'd like to cover, of course, is the Easy Lube drive lines, which very few competitors have. On your PTO drive line, all the grease fittings are in alignment from your tractor PTO to the splitter gearbox, so it doesn't take you long to locate all the grease fittings. On the wing drive lines themselves, the grease fittings are also in alignment from your cutting box back to the splitter box. And that just makes for more ease of alignment. Better alignment, more ease of lubrication, and less time. And that's really important for your mowing contractor or farmer, that you don't spend a lot of time trying to locate all the grease fittings. That, coupled with the sight gauge on the gearbox, is a real plus for this machine.